Exalt the Lord our God, He is worthy to be praised. Exalt the Lord our God, He is worthy to be praised. Exalt Him, for He is holy. For He is holy. Exalt Him, and with your voices raised, exalt Him, for He is holy. For He is holy. Exalt Him, He's worthy to be praised. Exalt the Lord our God, He is worthy.
Sisters, good morning to all our visitors. Good morning to the Christians. Good morning to those who are not yet Christians. However, if I'm invited here today to speak on a particular subject, I'm going to address myself today to Christians. I'm going to address myself to those who have believed the word and have accepted the call. It goes, the lesson will be extrapolated from the teaching to the sermon, broken in two major parts. I'm Brother James Tambe. I'm based in Italy. Many of you should know Papa T. I'm here, I have no gray hair, as many would expect. But the works which we do shall follow us. That is why you begin to earn names, even if your age does not match the name. Okay? This morning I want us to... Amen. There are three reasons why we don't fellowship, or why we do not fellowship. Those who did English language, you know that when you say don't, you say do not. There is an accent decision on something. Okay? Somebody who does not means you can do, but you put a not. Okay? When there is a don't, it means there is the impossible aspect attached to it. This is not an English class, but I want us this morning to talk about the three excuses. When I was invited to speak here, Brother Andy told me he has difficulty with assembling the Christians to do works away from Sunday service. That is the issue. When the Bible now says, and the apostles fellowship together, the Christians, the disciples, they fellowship together. So what exactly does fellowship mean? This is what I want us to see this morning. Because erroneously, by mistake or by chance, we think that fellowship is on Sunday morning. But we know from books we read, from the Bible, from scriptures, that the apostles assembled together to break bread, which means if you cook eru, Brother John should call Brother B to come and eat eru together. Are we together? Which means if there's intercartier in a corner and Brother Andy is playing, he will call Brother Caleb. Can you accompany me to go and play football? Which also means if there is born house or die house, the apostles fellowship together. Fellowship here does not mean that on Sunday they were assembling. Do we see a slight difference between fellowship and assembly? When the scripture says the disciples fellowship together, it means that apart from things of the world, when they went out for soul hunting, they went as a group. They went in a team. They had a structured format. Nothing was done in disorder. And the structured format came from the local congregations who organized them in numbers and in times and in places. Number, time, and place. So, what should fellowship mean exactly? I refuse to check the dictionaries. I actually said I've not checked. I'm going to use common sense to explain what fellowship actually means in the context of a congregation. The congregation has set rules. Apart from Sunday, the congregation did not set the Sunday rule. Don't misquote me. The Sunday worship is not set by a congregation. It's an ordinance, which means it is a service which you must render every first day of the week. But the congregation now set rules that on Monday we need to go evangelism. On Wednesday we need to meet here for studies. On Friday we need to meet here for prayers. On Saturday we need to visit widows. Saturday afternoon we will visit the orphans. Now each local congregation sets a program in time, in space, and in numbers. Next Thursday, Sister Glory gave birth to a baby boy. Brother John, Brother Peter, Brother Enoch. Next Thursday you are going to visit the sister. The congregation is setting time, the place, and the number. A lot of us have no problem with time. We have no problem with space. We have no problem with numbers. Are we together? So where is the problem? Now the Spirit of God leads you to say you should fellowship. But the spirit of evil now comes to speak to you that, oh no, we are going to see today the three reasons, the three things that come to your mind before you say no. Or you said yes, but you didn't do it. Because the congregation has set times and dates and numbers. We have no problem. Did we say so? We have no problem with the three factors. So why didn't we do it? What is happening? I'm going to mix pedagogy and scriptures together to be able to explain this lesson. It is necessarily not supposed to be a difficult lesson, but if you lose the train of thought in between, you might lose the track and you will not understand. Okay? Now, let us pick up our Bibles to Hebrews chapter 5, from verse 12 to verse 14. Hebrews 5, 12 to 14.
Hebrews chapter 5, from verse 12 to 13 read. For though by this time you ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again the first principles of the oracle of God. And you have come to need milk and not solid food. For everyone who partake of milk is unskilled in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But solid food belongs to those who are mature, to those who are risen of use, have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
Who is baptized less than 1 year now here? Please, tell me. Is there anybody who was baptized here less than 1 year ago? They are all above. Then it's an old congregation. Now, the example was going to be this. If this Christian is going to ask me, brother, what is grace? I'm going to take all of my time to explain what grace was. Because I know this is a baby and needs milk. If Brother Andy writes to me, "My brother, help me, what is grace?" I'll delete his number. I'm going to delete his number because I love him. And he'll say, Brother Tambe deleted my number. I say, yes. You need to eat gold. You are old. If you are old and you are drinking milk, then something is wrong. Now, when the congregation has set time and space and numbers, and an old Christian, all of you have been baptized more than 1 year ago, and you know that you have no problem with time and space and number, yet you are not fulfilling, then there is a problem. Then there are three reasons why you are not doing that thing. The main reason being that you are going to be slothful. You are not careful with your faith and with your patience. But that's not what I want us to see this morning. In verse 14, we have two main words I want us to examine. Those by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern. Those by reason of use is what? By the act of continuous practice. By the act of continuous presence. By the act of continuous fellowship. Amen? Amen. Because when you miss fellowship, somebody grew one fellowship older than you. Somebody learned something new, one more than you. So while you are playing for Econa United and you miss training on Thursday when I was playing, the last training, you are not playing on Sunday. They expect you to be there on Tuesday, on Thursday, and on Friday afternoon for warm-up and for match preparation. So while you are an artist, you need to sit on your keyboard and practice. Your fingers should be dead on the keyboards. Now, by reason of use, by reason of practice, which means if the Christians are going on evangelism on Thursday, they are one evangelism older than you. You need to be in constant practice and contact and touch with the power of God. You cannot move away from the presence of God. We are going to see that today. How many minutes do I have? I didn't ask. 45. The next thing I want us to see in verse 14 is that their senses exercised to discern. I have been talking about exercise, but I didn't use the word. You need to exercise. Your spirit needs to be in a chauffement. You are warming up. Before you get in the game, the coach tells you get up and warm up. You have to be in the same rhythm like those who are already playing. And we come here on Sunday. What I'm saying here is warming you up. Okay? So when you go on Monday, by the time you leave here, God has, okay, worship is over, go home. You drop your Bible, you close it, you put it under your pillow. Warming up stops. Brother, we need to go Wednesday classes. Your warming up has stopped on Monday. Now, to be able to fit yourself, you need to be warming up. But there are three reasons, so let's get into it now. The first reason is that I know the instruction, but I will not do it. But I am not ready to conform. The big word is this but. This is what is holding you behind. The second reason is that I don't know. These are the minority. There are few, very few who don't know. The big group, they are here. I don't care. We are going to use biblical examples to fit them with pedagogy to explain this. Amen? Amen. There are three reasons why you deny to fellowship, which means there is one house, but you have a reason because of Jangi. You have a reason because of your shop. You cannot close it. You have a reason because your uncle will be coming from the village. You have to go and receive him. So you now begin to look for birds. You know what you should be doing, but there is a bird. In the first group chapter 1, these are three parts here. I don't have time to write them out. If there was a PowerPoint, it would be easier. But this is section A, this is section B, and this is section C. Section A, I know that the congregation meets to pray and to study. But we are going to see two examples. The case of Jonah and the case of Naaman. They knew the instruction, but they were not going to fulfill. They had other projects. One had a problem with space and time. That was Jonah. Naaman had a problem with believing the instruction. So he put a bet himself. This is what I want us to see this morning. Here we are going to see Jonah and Naaman. That's not my writing, the board is shaking. So it makes a man of questions and go plus one. In Jonah chapter 1, which we are not going to read, except for the verses I'm going to indicate. Let's take our Bibles to the book of Jonah. He's a minor prophet. I don't want to see you going left and right. In Jonah chapter 1, the reader, please just take verse 1 and 2.
Verse 1 of Jonah chapter 1. Now the word of the Lord came to Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, Arise and go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness has come up before me.
That is the instruction. That is how the church in Munya is saying that on Wednesday, on Tuesday, on Thursday, on Friday, this is the instruction. We have placed time and space and numbers. That is instruction. That is instruction given to Jonah. What was he supposed to do? To go and cry out against Nineveh. Read verse 3.
Verse 3 read, But Jonah rose up to flee to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord, and he went down to Joppa. There he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid its fare and went down into it in order to go with them to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord.
Verse 6.
Verse 6. So the shipmaster came to him and said to him, What do you mean by this, O sleeper? Arise and call on your God. If possible, your God will be concerned about us, so that we not perish.
Meanwhile, the boat was going to perish. They were in peril. Jonah was closing his eyes. I will not wake up from this place. And he's hardening his heart. I will not. I know the instruction. I will not. I will not. I know the instruction. I will not. Okay? And the last factor on that verse is verse 12.
Verse 12, read. And he said to them, Take me up and cast me out into the sea, then the sea will be calm for you. For I know that for my sake this great tempest has come upon you.
He now makes the confession. And behold, the story ended that Jonah went to the mission against his will. You can read that at home. The instruction came to Jonah that you should go and cry out against Nineveh. And there are souls being lost in Munya, and we need to go out and cry out that change. The time is now. You know the instruction, but you refuse to go. There is conflict of the spirit, something telling you that you should not go, just like Jonah. It is either time or space or number. What we suffer now a lot is time, because of business, because of school, because of family. We have a lot of problems with our time. He now hardens his heart. I know the instruction, but this boat better sink. And the people were rowing. The Bible says they were struggling with all their might. But Jonah was in this corner, and they woke him up. I said, you, why don't you get up to help us? Jonah did not answer until they cast lots and it fell on him. Then he now responded. Now he is opening his eyes and wanting to react. He now makes the confession that if you throw me into this water, your boat shall be saved and you can go. Now God, man die, he died. This is Jonah, who was a prophet, who was supposed to cry out for Israel, to speak for them, and to declare the oracles of God for them. He knew the instruction, as we all know, but we are not ready to fulfill. And the same spirit of Jonah is touching us. Let's take the second example, the case of Naaman. Let's take our Bibles to 2 Kings chapter 5, which we shall not read. You can read in the house, except for the verses I am going to indicate. The book of 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 1.
Verse 1 of chapter 5.
Yes.
Now Naaman, captain of the army of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and highly respected, because by him the Lord had given deliverance to Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper.
This is somebody with a lot of personality, like many of us. Many of us, we have personality. We are respected by the society and by the people. So it stopped us from doing mean things like the Pharisees. We want to do only the bigger things, thinking that they are the big things that matter. But they are the small things which Naaman, being a great person, did not know about. These are two different cases. Jonah knew the instruction, being a prophet. Naaman knew nothing about the glory and the power and the works of God. This is a case where we are considering an ignorant person going through the same four factors, but his personality called blocked him to do the instruction. Let's read verse 3.
Verse 3.
The instruction is coming.
Verse 3. Now she said to her mistress, I wish that my master were with the prophet who is in Samaria, for he would cure him of his leprosy.
He knew nothing about the Elijah story, but the maid to his wife was a captive and knew about the power of his God through the man of God, and now gives instruction. She goes to her mistress and says, please tell our master that in Israel we have somebody who speaks the oracles of God. He will be healed of his leprosy, seeing that he has found favor. That is the instruction. Verse 10.
Verse 10 read. Then Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh will come again to you, and you will become clean.
That was Elijah.
Elisha.
Now this is the way of the instruction. This is the way. Apart from the instruction, what would you do? Jonah knew the way. He refused. Now Naaman does not know the way, that he is being told by the maid. And that is how the congregation is leading us onto the instruction towards fellowshipping together, towards becoming a congregation. Becoming a congregation is not only people sitting together as of now, but that there is feeling, but that there is attachment, but that we work like good beef. It is better in kitchen. We not give work like good beef. Because the early Christians were working like good beef, you could not touch one without afflicting the rest, and they will withdraw and they will start praying for that one that has been touched. Now, what happens now with Naaman? The last verse, 11. The refusal.
Verse 11. But Naaman was furious, and he went away and said, behold, I thought he would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, and strike his hand over the place and cure the leprosy.
Now personality cult is worrying, is standing in the way for Naaman. So if we now say, let us suspend worship because we can do that, let us go and preach in Munya Market now for 1 hour and come back here and continue. How many people are ready? It is raining, eh? Can we stop now and go to Munya Market for 1 hour? How many people are ready? It is raining, eh? You are still ready. Would you go? Would you go? Who would close his eyes like Jonah? I just bought my shoes yesterday, 25,000. See, you might not try.
What have you seen?
We know the instruction. Yeah,
I'm in the kitchen.
We find ourselves in where we know and where we don't know, but somebody is telling you what to do, but your culture, your personality cult, your knowledge is blocking you from doing the right thing. And the Spirit of God is telling you to fellowship with the congregation, but you are being blocked by things which you set yourself And the Bible says Naaman was wroth. He was very angry. I'm a very big man. I was expecting the prophet to come down here and tell me what to do. But the prophet sent a messenger. And Naaman was very, very angry. Naaman refused. Took all of his gifts and all of his horsemen and all of the maids and the maidens and said, let's go back to Syria. Me, Jordan, lie. We now see that these are two people who know the instruction by two different sources, but they refused through the hardness of their heart for two different reasons not to do. We already read Jonah, who did the confession and told them why they were in peril. And we shall see that Naaman later on changed his mind and went ahead to do, because he was going and the wife was like, look at the simple instruction, can't you follow? You were expecting that they'll tell you now to go and kill 100 bulls and 1,000 rams and wear white clothing and lie on the floor. That was what he was expecting. Today, what do we expect? That somebody should put their hands on their forehead and they push you, you fall. If you don't go to that place where they put their hands and they push you, you fall. They will not like it. I was in Bakebe and I was telling them about the evangelism in Ashum. And one of the owners said, for that place they would touch my head. I said, no, nobody will touch your head. We are going to read books. Me, I don't sabi read, I will read for you. Now, this is what Naaman was expecting, that he is a big man. The prophet too was all powerful. They should do this. He knew the instruction, but he would not do it because of obstacles which he himself set for himself. We begin to set our obstacles, and group number one is about 30% of the Christians. About 30% of the Christians. They know the instructions, they don't do it. Those Christians are about 30%. Now let me rush to group number two. These are about 12% only. They did not know, because a lot of us know what we should be doing. A lot of us, we know how we should be going about. We are going to see in the sermon a more touching lesson about our personality and the things we know and the things we don't know. So stay put for the sermon. It's going to be very strong. Okay? The Spirit of God now leads us to understand. And if you do not understand, the Bible says faith cometh only by hearing. If you do not come here, you will not hear. What is your faith based on? On nothing. Because faith is the substance of what? Of hearing the word of God. Okay? Now, those who do not know, they now find themselves in a situation where they have not heard. The only reason you did not know is because somebody has not told you about it. I run a very mixed congregation. We have Christians from Senegal, two from Cote d'Ivoire, we have Ghanaians, we have Nigerians, and we have Cameroonians. So I have to teach in English and French, each single sentence. We have ex-Roman Catholics, ex-Presbyterians, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and we have two real Church of Christ worshippers. So until the day I decided to preach baptism by immersion, 4 of them are no longer taking the Lord's Supper because they did not know. We can take nothing for granted. Do not take any single lesson for granted. If they did not come to worship, they would stay in their ignorance. If you do not go out for evangelism, you can never become a workman for God. You would not know what the people are expecting. You would never know the type of questions they ask. You would never know how to approach them. And you shall always be baffled. The don't knows did not hear. And if they have not heard, then those who know have not told them. And most of us are sitting here, we have good relationships with our neighbors. We always go to ask salt. Yeah? And our children have fever, we go and ask paracetamol. Then while we were coming on Sunday, he said, neighbor, how you sleep? Okay, I will go church. He is in his ignorance, and you will go church. He does not know. You have not told him. The don't knows are few. I will not dwell here. I'm going to the majority. I don't care. Group number 3, section number 3. Christians who do not care about the instruction. Amen?
Amen.
I know the instruction, but I don't care. I will not do it for personal reasons. I know the instruction, but I'm doing too much already. This one I cannot do now. Brother, I was the one who took sermon. I'm the one who should be taking prayer meeting. Now you're asking me to go and visit Sister Glory who gave birth. I don't have, I mean, one a day. I know, but I don't want, I don't care. I will not do it. Brother, call different person. Master, call different person. Okay. Now we find ourselves in the case of Cain and of Daniel. We have 2 examples. I skipped, I don't care. There are very few. I'm going to talk about 48% of the Christians who find themselves either as Cain or by the prophecy of Daniel. This one, he does not fall under this. Not that he did not care, but he said something that people shall be going to and fro looking for knowledge. And that is the knowledge that is killing them. Okay? While we go to and fro looking for knowledge, we visit men of God, we visit different groups to find knowledge, we begin to touch spirituality to look for knowledge. We now find ourselves deliberately telling God that my instructions can wait because I have a better way of serving you. And so we move to and fro, looking for a better way to serve God, as if our works matter. People will now tell you that when I serve one at the go church, when I was at their house, I better pass you, because of his knowledge of the fact that those who go to church, they are still sinners. But I'm in the house, I do alms. I don't go to church, but I help those who are sick. I don't go to church, but I do giving. I don't go to church, but I pray. So he now sees himself holy, holier than you are. And he now tells you that I'm better off, even if I don't worship. But then you have to bring the person. If you remember and you carry this person to I don't know, you are going to teach this person the truth. Those who don't care, the mind of Cain. We take our Bibles to Genesis chapter 4. Genesis chapter 4. And we are going to pick out verses. It is the whole chapter about Cain and his brother who had to offer sacrifice unto God. Now let nobody tell you that Cain's sacrifice was not good. That's not true. Cain brought the best of his farm. He bought the biggest yam, for an example, and the best potato, and the best tomatoes. He bought the best he was producing. Let somebody not tell you that he did it recklessly. He did it well. But he did not follow instruction. And God had no regard for his bountifulness. Which means that is how people will be asking at the last day that, God, did I not prophesy in your name? I visited the sick. I brought bountifully. But God has no regard because you did not follow instructions. And as you are Christians and you are getting of age in Christianity and you are lasting long in what you are doing, the more God is requiring of you. Your works has no limit. It cannot be bountiful enough. But you need to follow instruction. That is how the widow gave her single mite. It was not bountiful, but it was worthy. The rich man gave bountifully, but it was not worthy. So we have to be careful about following instructions, about fellowshipping together. Or else if you become a Sunday worshiper, you are not fellowshipping, you are assembling. You come here, we are assembled. We are not fellowshipping, we are sharing nothing here, except the worship, the service we are doing now. The word, the giving, the lots of the prayer, and the singing. Okay? Now what now happens is that when we leave here, and the rain is falling, and I came with a car, and somebody wants me to carry the person, I say, my motor too expensive, you cannot get it to eat. I refuse to fellowship with you because we have seen it. It's out of experience that I have, but I cannot give you. that I have my last 500 francs and somebody has no transport fare and it is raining, you need to withdraw 200 francs from the 500 and give to that brother and bless him. Amen? Amen. Or else you have the mind of Cain. You are doing bountifully, but you are not following instruction. What did you do? You took away 200 from 500. It is not much, but it is a blessing. You just bless somebody. Because what? God is asking you that as a child of God, you should bless, you should help, you should cover, you should visit, you should do the things I ask you to do. Faith should be active. When they say faith is active, it should carry the ingredients of activity. The ingredients of activity. But sometimes we are very active because we are like whited sepulchre. We are active outside, but the inside is void. And we have the heart of Cain, who was good outside with his bountiful sacrifice. But inside, he did not follow the instruction. The vase is empty. But before long, the truth shall come out. You see a brother reacting in a meeting, a simple meeting, and the brother gets angry and bangs his hand and shouts, everybody, I don't know, so that's only brother there. You have been hiding for so long. But not before long, the truth shall come out. Now, if you continue to be an empty vase, the Spirit will convict you and it shall come outside. That is how the Spirit begins to expose those who have extra marital relationships, those who visit the sea in Limbe. I already met 2 Christians who would be visiting the sea in Limbe, and they were trying to hide. But the Spirit would convict you to tell you why they were visiting the sea in Limbe. Because they go and drop coins in the water. Their business must prosper. Okay? But you cannot hide for too long, because where the Spirit is, there is light. And the Bible says, everything that is done in darkness shall be brought to light. And people will bring you out, you will not believe. Without much division, let's take Genesis chapter 4, verse 3.
Verse 3. Now, in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground as an offering to the Lord.
Verse 5.
Verse 5.
So wait. We now see Cain brought sufficient food for the sacrifice. He did well. Let's not say Abel's sacrifice was. No, he brought the best. Continue, verse 5.
Verse 5. But to Cain and to his offering he had no regard. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell.
So that is how the church was assigning somebody to do a mission. And you think that because of your academic qualification, you think that because of your huge marital status, or where you are working, the church was supposed to appoint you. And the church had no regard for your qualification, and they appointed a lesser brother, and you get angry. And now you do not want to do again. You will not ever come again. Now you just got angry. Because the church had no regard for your papers. The church had no regard for your status. The church had no regard for your social belonging. And they pointed out somebody else to do a worthy assignment. And you got angry. And now the heart of Cain is coming. And that church cannot give you any further instruction. You decide to absent yourself for the first 2 Sundays to the learn lesson. Who are you teaching a lesson? Let's continue verse 8.
Verse 8 read. Then Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and killed him.
What was Cain talking with Abel? Brother Andy, see, the next time there is a baptism, you don't call me, man of God. You see me for this place. And Abel was like, what? That was what Cain was telling Abel. And as God accepted your sacrifice, and now you are making like this, see, I will show you something. And he slew his brother. We are killing ourselves and our brothers unconsciously by carrying the heart of Cain. Because the church has not regarded your position, now you don't care. Now you don't care, and you go home, and belly will turn from inside, and you are not happy. Because when they started sharing food, you are the elder's wife. They will not call you first. He's speaking a thing, man now. Now you go home and the thing is eating your stomach. Okay? Which means the next meeting where there will be food now, you show them that you are the elder's wife. Okay? You are going to keep that thing for 1 month because in my place fellowship meal is every month. Which means for the next 1 month, you are planning to show the congregation that you are the elder's wife. Any other thing in between, you don't care. We find ourselves, this is the majority of the Christians, where they know the instruction, but they don't care. The last, read now verse 13 and verse 16.
13 and 16 read. Then Cain said to the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Verse 16. Then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of north east of Eden.
Now the next fellowship meal in August, they are sharing food again. They call the lower sisters and they did not call the elder's wife. So this thing has repeated itself. I'm going to take myself away from the presence of God. Next week, when I say the worship of full gospel, amen? So this is the majority. Because of our personality cult, because of our status, because of what we think we know, but we are not called upon to say the things we know, then we get angry. Then we start our own congregation. Then we divide the church like in Bamenda, which the church is doing nothing about because of the personality cult. Then we do not only divide the church, then we cross over and start a new church. Because we know the instruction, but now we don't care. It ain't too much. I've had enough. I will not do that again. If we go to evangelism under this way now for 1 hour, in your market, we'll come back here. Some people will not come here next Sunday. It should not surprise you. It is simply psychology. Now you now understand the state of the mind of the person. There are 3 groups of Christians, but by God's grace, let us find ourselves in the didn't know. At least we have an excuse. But I didn't come for prayer on Friday. Now which time we cannot be know? And not be know. You are easily forgiven, both by men, by the children of men, and by the children of God. They easily forgive you when you say you don't know. But you cannot say you don't know many more times. Because that one time you did not know. The second time you cannot say you don't know. Now you knew, but and the church removes you from here and they place you here. He knows, but he is still not coming. How do we then become Christians who fellowship? Last thing before we close, I've seen the signal. Christians who fellowship must have the intent. Point number 1. Must have the intent. They must intentionally want to fellowship. This is small, I'm starting from small. Point number 2. After the intention, you should see the reason. 1, you should have the intent. 2, you should have a reason for doing it. A reason. And 3, you should have what? Love, which is above all. That is the direction. Love is greater. If you do not have love for God, you will not do his work. If you do not have love for your neighbor, you will not help him. If you do not have love for souls that are getting lost outside, you will not tell them the truth. You just left today and your neighbor is not here. God is going to ask you. People who have been neighbors for 3 years, 4 years. You are always asking salt from that neighbor. You are sitting here, he's in the house. He has just put Lapiro de Manga and he's dancing with his children. On Sunday morning, what do? They stay in their house, they play good music, and they stay with their families and they're idling. If you are sitting here and you are worshiping God, and your neighbor does not know, that all grace is found here. Now, when the congregation says we should fellowship, it means we should move together in the process of salvation. We should move together in the trend towards works. All of this is works. We should be together when we begin to assign time and space and numbers. Because when you assign 3 Christians and one absents himself, the 2 find themselves in difficulty. Sometimes it is a small assignment, they can handle that. Sometimes there are big assignments. And 2 of them will not be able to handle that. Then you refuse to fellowship. You know the instruction that the church is asking you to do A, B, and C, but you cannot do it. Because Jangi Day, I have seen people who receive only guests and they miss worship. I have seen people who have Jangi and they go to cook, they must cook because Jangi they come for Sunday afternoon. I will miss the fellowship of the Christians and prefer Jangi because Jangi gives me money I can touch. But the love of God you cannot touch. So you now begin to choose. You must have the intention to do the things. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And I told you that I lie. Flesh no weak, nothing. The spirit dominates the flesh. And every instruction you put in the spirit, the flesh responds. Any single instruction you give your spirit, the flesh responds. Because the spirit is stronger. The spirit is now weaker when you have given opportunity to the flesh, to your lusts. And now you find yourself in that difficult situation where the sister is teasing you. But because of your lust, the spirit is telling you, no, you can't do that. The instruction is that you cannot fornicate, you cannot adulterate. But the flesh is weak because you are giving chance to your lusts. Now the flesh is taking what? Dominance. The flesh is taking dominance and the spirit is getting down and you sin. Your flesh was not weak. It's because the instruction you gave to the spirit was not fully respected. You did not follow the instructions. And you find yourself in the situation of Cain. You find yourself in the situation of Naaman, where this is the glory of God standing in front of you. But this is the small instruction to get into the presence of God. Now you block it. So I told my people that flesh weak and lie. When you get up at 5 o'clock to pray, today I was 30 minutes up, but I was very tired. I traveled from Ashum yesterday from the wakekeeping. I came back, I had to meet people. I got up and I was doing that. I said I lied. So I got up and I moved the cover and we are cold now and I stood up. Flesh, you cannot be weak. Because what is carrying you is the spirit. Okay? Now if the spirit is convicting you now to fellowship with Christian brothers and sisters, you shall be here during the week to do the things God is asking you as service. If we now say let's stop under the rain, 1 hour evangelism before worship, whether you get up, you prepare yourself, you tie your cloak, as Jesus was telling the disciples, cloak themselves and to go. You would go. You would not complain. You would not mind your 20 minutes, 25,000. You would not mind your super sang 40, sang 40. You will not bother. You would go, and God will make providence. And the Spirit of God would smile. And the more you are doing, the more you shall be having thirst to do the things. And that is how you see somebody becoming very active and say, you are very active. I'm very active because the Spirit is taking me to be active. Amen? Amen? This is what I want us to see this morning. Please, for the sermon, I need everybody to have a pen and a paper. We are going to write the GC here and now. For the time which you are supposed to be grown-up Christians, somebody still has to give you milk. We have to go over that session. You have to be strong. All of us here are older than a year. So we should know the instructions and we should follow them. We are going to write a GC. You are going to mark your scripts yourself. And at the end of our sermon, you are going to keep that paper. And you shall follow them. If God gives me grace, I come here again. I would like to come here and we shall examine our results. Amen? Amen. So let's be ready. I need a pen and a paper for sermon. Everybody. So this is what I prepared for us. Because Luke chapter 12 verse 16 to close now tells us that we can decipher these things. And how come we do not discern the times? How come you do not understand that you are in error? When the Spirit of God is there to guide you into all truth. May the Lord bless you.